What's good, gamers? Welcome to Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show. How you doing, HenricK the Wreck?
It's rainy in SoCal. It's my kind of weather.
Right, man, because it gives you the excuse to stay indoors and to be gaming and forget about going to school the next day. No, I'm just kidding. Your education should go first. Second, well, I don't know. You know what? Don't let me be the one that dictates your life. If you're living on 1 HP and you feel like you got to go and hustle and get that full stim and you got to get your gaming on, do what you got to do, baby. That's what it's all about.
Do what you gotta do.
Right. But hey, listen, we always like to start it off in the beginning, just giving you guys a huge shout out again by always loving you guys. I'm always building new subscribers every day, and I can't thank you guys enough. And if you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, go ahead and scan the QR code, like, share, subscribe, so you never miss a live show.
And you can subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell icon so you know when I upload a video. And you'll want to do that because on Mondays, I upload memes, and they're pretty funny. You should take a look. Oh, man.
Yes, you do. And, you know, we've been getting quite the attraction when it comes to these gaming memes, and I'm glad that everybody's enjoying that, man. Everybody can get a good laugh when it comes to gaming, right? I mean, everybody doesn't take themselves so seriously, and that's the best part. And we love doing this every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And as you can clearly see from the lower third here, speak up throughout the show, because if you comment, we're going to feature you live on air. But hey, let's start off the show with a bang, because we always like to show you guys viral content that's circulating all across the globe. And so let's get it. Twitch streamer Joseph Cannell was kicked out of Office Depot after trying to turn it into his personal streaming studio, complete with camera and gear. So an employee threatened to call security, proving that even in the world of retail, the customer isn't always right, especially when they're live streaming from the desk aisle. I mean, the audacity that some people have. But it's funny. Is it or is it not? You judge.
What?
You can't videotape in the store.
Why not?
Because
I'm streaming right now.
It's against company policy.
I'm just trying to become like the next part-time streamer.
Pack up. Time to pack up, or I'll have security remove you.
Can I just finish this?
No, you cannot. You gotta pack up. You cannot be here.
Diddy donated $1.
You lied to me. You
Come
told me
give
you
me
were
that
setting up to
ass.
see what your system looked like.
Yeah, I gotta set it up just to test it out.
No, you're not testing it out in the store. I mean, I'll let you set it up, but you can't run and video.
Oh, I can't run?
He's videoing over here, and no, you're gonna have to go.
Hintler donated $1.
Chat saying
This
like
black
You
nigga
can
is stroking his cock.
security right now.
chat saying like
You have
hell
a few
man.
minutes to pack up and leave, or I'm gonna have security.
Bro, you gotta be a W man's. Come on. Just dance on
I'm telling
stream.
you right now. I've given
Wait.
you the option.
Okay.
We're done. Nope.
Oh.
Thank you.
Alright. L worker chat.
Yes, work, yeah.
Just come closer. Just come closer, Luis. He's gonna try to block you.
He calls him an L-mans. I don't think the guy even knows what that is. He's too old to know.
Yeah, exactly. But then again, it's like, what is live and in real live streaming become? You know, like, why terrorize the people that are in retail? I mean, you're part of Geek Squad, you know, as a side gig. I mean, would you be upset on a level that, you know, someone's setting up a live stream inside the store, you know, without people's consent walking by? I mean, the guy's just trying to do his job, right?
Yeah, I mean, it would be funny. It would be something that we'd be laughing about, you know, but at the end of the day, I don't get paid to deal with this.
Right. And, you know, this Joseph Cannell, he's actually got more videos trolling at retail stores. Some of them we couldn't even show live on air because it's so vulgar, because, you know, people can donate $1 and then the audio starts speaking through the computer speaker. And they're going to say even more vulgar stuff because Cannell doesn't necessarily know what his audience is going to be saying on the speaker. I mean, it's totally insane. You kind of got a tiny glimpse, you know, in that video clip.
A little bit.
But let's go ahead and see what the comments had to say about this viral clip. First comment that we got here is, what was bro's end goal? That is what I'm still trying to figure out. But then again, it's a great way to get your stream name out there on a level. I mean, it is going viral, and it is being discussed right now on Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show. As an employee, why does he actually give a damn?
I mean, yeah, like I said, you don't really get paid to deal with this, you know? So it's just like, whatever, bro, you do your thing.
Yeah, I mean, then at the same time, you know, people might not know this. I work part-time in a liquor store, and then that's like on a level where somebody goes, hey, you know, I was just wanted to listen to this radio song on, you know, that you got playing. Can I stand here for a second and listen to a song or two? And it's like, dog, you realize that I have to stand up and look at you the entire time. And yes, you might be a good person, but I don't want to watch you. Like, because what if I have other things I got to do? I got to put my whole entire focus on you because gosh knows if you're going to steal something. I don't know. Nobody knows. And so, yeah, I kind of feel for the guy in the video.
Yeah.
Also, the last comment we got here is, the inner younger me finds this funny, but at the same time, I finally get why Benson was always crashing out on the regular show. So it's not always easy for everyone. But hey, I don't know about you, Henrik, but I'm the kind of trash in the gulag that belongs in the recycling bin. And what I mean is, like, this viral clip will make you feel like a pro because this guy's got an epic strategy that's going to be a game changer. So if you're dog wet and you flap like a fish in Call of Duty Warzone, like your boy Chris Collins, I don't know, you might want to pick up on this because this feels genius. Let's see if you can make it work in your own live streaming gaming.
Action's cracked out of his mind.
Yo, SPF.
Go for it then, bye, bait.
Yo, SPF. Stop! Don't shoot. We can just do the little gulag thingy. This is. See the metal, the little metal crate on the side. Don't. You can.
Why are you fucking?
I don't know what you're talking about. Come here. Come to the middle. Come to the middle. See right here? There's a teddy bear.
Kill me.
Look, you can kill me if you want. There's a teddy bear right there.
Okay.
I shot mine on your side now. You got to shoot the other one right below the cone. See the cone?
Where?
I'm just kidding, bro.
Oh, you mother!
GG's, bro.
You know, and at least the guy's laughing about it because he knows he got caught.
That's good. I like that. I've never seen that kind of approach. And, you know, if you guys see more of this kind of content, you guys got to send it our way. I love a good finesse in video games. And people clearly had a lot to say around this viral clip. And the first one that we got here is, dog couldn't help but laugh. You know what? You got to laugh about it sometimes. You know, you got to real recognize real, right?
Exactly. No, and you know, like I said, the guy was like, yeah, you know, you got me. That was a good one.
I know. And then you have to clip your own death.
Yeah.
Rule number 1 of Call of Duty, never trust anyone. Haven't we not figured that out yet?
True. It's true. So many the bad things happen when you start to trust randos.
Yeah, that you ain't lying, HenricK the wreck. You better not kill me, proceeds to get killed. So,
Yeah,
you know,
like 2 seconds later.
if you thought you had trust issues with your significant one, well, you might have trust issues when it comes to Call of Duty Warzone and the allies or non-allies you see in the video game sector. But HenricK, do you remember the pandemic and online classes? Because they were the worst.
Yeah, but I mean, I had my own tactics to get through them, you know.
Oh,
keep
did you
myself
now?
awake, things like that.
Okay, because I don't know about you, but it felt like trying to level up your education was using a broken controller, if that makes sense to the gamers out there. Like, it was completely brutal. And I know the professors and the teachers on the other end, we feel for you. We feel the sentiment. It wasn't easy for the student and the educator. But, you know, you got to love this next clip because this is going to throw you back down on memory lane as if you were one of these students or learners out there during the pandemic in the year 2020, you're definitely going to relate to this next clip.
Hey class, does anyone know the answer to question 2? Anyone? Okay, since no one wants to answer, I'm going to just pick on someone. Okay. Antonio? Antonio!
Yes?
Where were you?
I was here the whole time. My Wi-Fi was lagging.
Okay then. What's the answer to number 2?
36?
What? Antonio, this is English.
Oh.
You know what? I have to be the first to admit there were a couple classes where I definitely did that consistently because they were just lecture classes.
But you were in the theater department. Oh, you only did it in lecture. I was going to say, how do you do that in an online acting course? That would be pretty funny.
That's more difficult.
Okay.
I also did this trick. Here's a little pro tip for you guys who want to mess around with OBS a little bit. Record yourself on OBS and then loop the video every few minutes because there's a little loop thing on OBS. So I did that and just walked away for a few minutes.
You're kidding.
No one caught it.
Yeah, you're literally giving our gamers the idea to skip out on their education. That is a video game talk show for you, Rage
That
Quit.
is more of a chance for you to play video games, man.
You ain't lying. And, I think I didn't really have this kind of opportunity because I was when the pandemic kicked in, I was in the last semester doing my thesis defense. But I can only imagine if this happened a year before, I probably would have used not the same tactic as you, Henrik, but maybe something's very close. But comments around this video was, bro's a professional multitasker. Our teachers are very gullible when we say my end was laggy, right?
Yeah. I mean, their end was laggy plenty of times too, right? So
yeah, very true. They'll never know. Hats off to those who did it with one monitor. Yeah, man. That would be quite the mission, because if you're looking in the space that I'm in right now, you feel like you're in a spaceship. So I can't even imagine doing that on a one-screen laptop. And that's why we have zero attention span. On a level, us millennials and the Gen Zs, our attention span's like the size of a raisin. And the pandemic didn't necessarily help any of us. But hey, there you go. Flashback to terrible times. Let's not go back to those dark ages. But hey, listen, Stephen A. Smith is at it again on his Stephen A. Smith podcast show. You can find it on YouTube, and he has made his Fortnite landing spot known. And can you, the gamers, guess where this sports commentator is dropping for Victory Royale? You have a second. Think about it. What is Stephen A. going to drop at? Let's roll the clip.
Oh, my Lord. At Nzambak. Where are we landing, Stephen A? Let's look at this right here. Salty Springs Retail Row. I forgot the name of this. What's the name of this show again? Fortnite. This is the video game Fortnite, right? I think so. Wailing Woods, Tomato Town. Oh, I remember something about this. I saw this just the other day. Which one? I'm gonna go with Tilted Towers. You know why? It's right in the middle here, and it looks like that's where all the action is. You see how this looks right here? See all this green here? See all of this? You see Loot Lake right here in the blue, but damn it, that's a lake. You're looking at all of this stuff right here. When you see this right here, that looks like a palatial mansion in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by grass and all of this other stuff. I see some other spots here, Shifty Shafts, Greasy Grove, Snobby Shores, stuff like that. But this looks like where all the action is. Where the party's at? Where the party's at? I'm going with Tilted Towers. That's what I'm going to do.
Before you chime in, Henrik, I just got to say, I wish I wish the gamers saw your reaction, because you were like, oh, no way.
I was just like, oh, of course he goes Tilted Towers of all things,
Oh, man.
I know we had a joke in regards to this that, forget zodiac signs, forget all that stuff. Tell me your Fortnite landing spot, because that'll tell me a lot about what kind of person you are.
Yeah, exactly. Like, girl, I don't need to know your zodiac sign. You just tell me where you're going to land, and I'll figure you out just as well in life. But, now that we are talking about it right now, HenricK the Wreck, what is that go-to spot? I'm thinking Greasy Grove. Wailing Woods would probably be my next go-to, but how you feeling? You like the thunder? You like to go to Tilted Tower?
Tilted Tower's the spot if you want to go and actually get tilted, because it's a hot drop area. I'm more on the side of, let's go Tomato Town. Let's, have a couple fights.
Town.
And then let's go. Yeah, exactly. The song.
Exactly.
But, we'll have a couple fights and go meet up with the rest of the lobby that's still alive.
Yeah, so true, man. And let's go ahead and read the comments around this viral clip from Stephen A. Smith. First comment that we got here is, bro definitely has the battle pass. While someone here also says, there is no shot Stephen A. Smith has played a game of Fortnite in his life. So
yeah, guaranteed he's only heard about Tilted Towers because of people making jokes about it.
Yeah, exactly. And he's trying to be a man for the people. So you gotta be involved in gaming, because gaming dominates music, movies, television, and theater combined. So someone like a sports icon commentator like Stephen A. Smith, at least he's in the know. Next comment we got here is, imagine landing tilted and you get killed by Stephen A. Smith. How about that? I think it'd be an honor. I would be graced by your presence, Stephen A. Smith, if you took me out in Tilted Towers. Last, funny thing is, he ain't wrong. Tilted Towers is where the action was at for real. And it really does make you feel like you want to go back to those glorious days. And we got a comment here from the homeboy Kevin Drake. Coach Wade Phillips likes playing Fortnite. Stephen A. Smith doesn't know jack. So, hey, you heard it from Kevin Drake. He is saying adamantly that, I'm telling you, Stephen A., you're not playing Fortnite, but maybe you should join. Maybe you should jump on now. But hey, listen, we got an amazing show for everybody that's tuning in live to Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show. And we just want to remind you guys, speak up throughout the show. Your voice will be heard. And what do we mean by that, HenricK? We want you guys to comment. You guys comment. We'll show you up like this beautiful lower third. And just like how you saw just with the homeboy Kevin Drake, that we want you guys to engage in the conversation, so please join along for the ride.
Chris, if he says something outlandish.
Okay, fine. And then, if HenricK, like Stephen A. Smith likes to say, goes off on his soliloquies, we all know what we gotta have to do. We're gonna have to gang up on HenricK and let him know that your homeboy Chris Collins is always right with his immaculate takes. Is that?
Of course.
At
As always,
least
Chris is
you
always
admit
right.
it. Hey, but you ready to rock and roll, HenricK?
Absolutely. It's time to rage, baby.
It's time to rage, baby. Woo!
Hey everyone, this is Pause or Repeat. Here we figure out whether a game is really worth your time and money. Today's game is Mario vs. Donkey Kong. This is a remake of the game with the same name from 2004, originally made for the Game Boy Advance. So in the context of it being a remake for the Switch, did Nintendo do it right? To start, let's go over the gameplay. The gameplay of Mario vs. Donkey Kong is very similar to the newer Super Mario Bros. Games. The big difference being that instead of longer levels, you are in a smaller level that is laid out as a puzzle. The goal, retrieve the key for the door to move forward and reach the Mario toy. Along the way, you'll also be able to grab wrapped gifts to 100% your level progress. But it won't be so easy. As stated, each level is a puzzle where you'll need to use Mario's platforming skills to jump, climb ladders, and more. There are many obstacles in your way, including colored blocks that can be switched on or off, alongside the enemies in each level as well. Each world has 8 levels, with 8 worlds in total, and at the end of each world, you will have a boss fight against Donkey Kong that will involve using your platforming skills. And good news for gamers, this remake has new levels that the original did not. But why are we fighting? The story has the answers. It starts off with Donkey Kong watching TV. He sees an ad for a Mario toy and rushes to go buy one. However, they are sold out by the time he gets there, so he decides to instead charge into the factory and steal them off the production line. As the Toads rush out in panic, Mario walks by and sees Donkey Kong leaving with a bag full of the toys and gives chase. Throughout the game, Mario is collecting the toys bit by bit as they are left behind by Donkey Kong. But now the question still stands. Pause or repeat? Alright, this being a remake of a Game Boy Advance game from 2004, and it being a remake on top of that from Nintendo, I'm real curious about what your thoughts are, Chris, the Mr. Nintendo hater, especially considering this game is not very long.
What, you want me to go off? You want me to go off right now? Are you sure you want to hand the baton to me?
I know you.
Are you positive, HenricK? Because I'm ready to wreck havoc, man. It's like, yeah, we can get all excited about all these crispy graphics, updating a Game Boy Advance game, but like, there's nothing about the mechanics that feel contemporary about this. I mean, it has the same problem that we just witnessed with Super Mario RPG. You're reviving a game that's about, 3 decades old and passing it off as nostalgia with like zero money being thrown down to, turn it into something that's grand, something a bit different. Yeah, you might add, 2 new maps to the mix, but is it really, really worth the $50 smackaroos? I don't think so, HenricK. I'm just going to say it right off the bat. But go ahead. How do you feel about this? Are you really going to continue to go down this hole where we're going to continue to call this a remake, remaster, remake, whatever kind of vernacular you want to throw at this?
You got to hand it to Nintendo. On one hand, yes, their games that come out are pretty good quality, but I can't deny the fact that their games never go on sale. And this game is $50 and it's never going to go on sale.
And it's incredibly short.
Wow.
It's short.
Yeah, no,
We just
exactly.
literally have a game that people are still talking about, Helldivers 2, for $40, yet we got this game that's being bypassed as nostalgia and, crispy graphics, but yet this could have worked a lot better as a mobile game. And we're passing it off to the Nintendo Switch as if this should be celebrated.
Entirely. I don't know if I agree with the mobile game stance entirely too much, considering typically, maybe it might work for a mobile game, like a high budget mobile game, but it feels like most likely if it were going to be a mobile game, it would not be as polished as this. I'm just going to say it out right now.
Really?
Nintendo games, even on
a lot of mobile games, all you do is
console
just use the crispy graphics. Really, man? I mean, I know they added.
It's about the full package, of like adding more levels and adding the new abilities that Mario has compared to the original. I don't know. I feel like if anything, if they were going to make this a mobile game, it would be probably a little less content rich as this one.
Really, dude? Because
I really, there's not a whole lot to do as is.
I really want to speak to the Switch gamers out there. Did you ask for this? Did you really ask for this? Did you really want this? I mean, come on, man. It's been a very lackluster 2024 when it comes to Nintendo, and this is the best that we can offer. I just can't let this slide. And I know you might not think it would work for the mobile. Okay, fine. But what would make it work for the Switch is maybe adding a little bit more features. Like what happened to Level Maker, for example? What happened to the online play? You want $50, but yet you're going to remove some of those amazing attributes that were around for some of the other Switch versions that are Super Mario-esque. What the hell's going on?
No, I agree. I think honestly, in that sense, if you're thinking of this having those features, maybe this would have been a great DLC side content for, I don't know, Super Mario Bros. Wonder.
But if you arguing something along the lines of DLC, then why would we support this as being 50 smackaroos? Because I am paying $50 DLC for this game.
It wouldn't be $50. It would be like 20.
But we don't want to give
Maximum.
Nintendo any more ideas because, I mean, as things go on, games are getting more and more expensive. But then again, we got a lot of other video games, like I shouted out, Helldivers 2, getting a lot of the, praise that it highly deserves. But, I'm just, it just irks me because all of last year we had the whole remastered remakes and all that kind of fun jazz. And, I'm currently replaying again Final Fantasy VII Remake, and someone that never grew up playing Final Fantasy VII and seeing what they did to re-immerse you into this insane storytelling and amazing world, that really feels redefining. This, I can't. It's a definitive stamp it hard. It's a pause. You're gonna play it one time and then you're never gonna return back to this game. It belongs back on the Game Boy Advance where it should have remained.
Yeah, I'm going to have to say the same. It's a pause for me as well, because I just don't feel like, unless you're really, really into this genre of game, I don't feel like you're going to want to play it again. Not to say that it's a bad game, because I had fun, but for $50, it doesn't feel like the ratio of fun to how much money is spent is really a good ratio.
But even when they add the two new worlds, Merry Mini Land and Slippery Summit, gosh, a tongue twister right there. That was a pain in the ass level. Anything that involves the ice worlds, get it out of here. And what do they do to add to the game? Add another ice world segment. Golly!
You gotta add challenge somehow to this, You got to think about it too. This game is marketed as an E for everyone title, so its player base could be a 3-year-old for all we know.
True. That's true. And as you can clearly see from the lower 30, there are over 130 levels in this puzzle style game. So if this is something for you, and if I'm saying something completely outlandish, by all means, let me know what's good. But myself, we can't let this, we cannot allow this to keep happening, even though Nintendo has a lot more plans to revitalize a lot of their old IP in the year 2024. So maybe they do better, but this one just doesn't hit the mark. But man, gosh, but we've heard it, both HenricK the Wreck and I were saying a pause, but you know, we got a lot more left here on Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show. So, HenricK, you ready to get things rolling? You ready to rock and roll?
Absolutely. Let's go on and start the show, really.
Oh, start the show. Let's get it, Bam. Woo! What's good, listeners? Welcome to Patch Notes, where my co-host HenricK and I discuss gaming news, industry talk, and so much more. Let's get it. Just 3 months into the year, we've already had Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, Tekken 8, Helldivers 2, Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown, and the phenomenon that was Pow World, or other words known as what? Pokemon with guns? Are we still playing
Pokemon with guns.
But hey, with PlayStation and Nintendo waiting until 2025 for their big releases, Xbox could dominate 2024 with a series of AAA hits. So let's go ahead and take down the lower third. Let's show you guys again what Xbox/Microsoft has acquired over the last couple months. And do you notice something with the artwork, HenricK? What's that in the red? Oh, wait, it's Toys for Bob.
Yeah,
they're gone.
They're gone.
Yeah, and that's actually very, very fascinating towards this conversation because gamers are wondering, does Xbox's current position present a golden opportunity that might not encounter again? And as you can clearly see, Toys for Bob just recently left. They decided after all these years partnering with Activision Blizzard that they felt like it was necessary to move on and go independent. Why? You know, you would think with such a powerhouse like Xbox and Microsoft, you would want to stick around, but clearly that is not the case. And that's why the question is being asked. And that is why gamers are speculating online. So let's go ahead and read the comments right now. So the first one we have here is, so basically the internet blew this whole thing out of proportions. So some people feel like, you know, Xbox didn't have any plans. I'm seeing you shake your head right now, HenricK.
It does happen. Unfortunately, you know, one person says one thing and then they say, oh my God. The next person goes and tells 5 people and it spreads so quickly. And then this state of panic and hysteria comes in.
Yeah, I mean, especially consider, well, maybe it's because of the year 2023 for Xbox. It wasn't necessarily the most grandest of year, if anybody remembers.
Yeah.
I was kind of waiting for you to say Starfield, but
the classic.
I just want all the old Call of Duty games on Game Pass. So that's a great point. You know,
that actually would be pretty good considering that those games are still full price on Steam, for example.
Big time. And I know there were some discourse online feeling like, yeah, you know, Game Pass is great, but it's moving too slow. And maybe Xbox has that golden opportunity to really vamp this thing up big time. Next comment we got here is, really hope Xbox starts adding more backwards compatible games in the future.
All right, yo, this is actually something kind of frustrating because they did say, oh, yeah, we're going to work on backwards compatibility. Guess what, though? I've seen a video. I don't own an Xbox because I have a PC. A lot of the games on an Xbox go to PC, but I've seen a video of someone try to play the original Halo from the Xbox series. Or it's not even the series, the original Xbox on the OG Xbox.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
You know?
Okay.
So you can't play it on a new Xbox, even though they're saying, oh yeah, backwards compatibility is such a big thing. Are you saying that your flagship series, you can't play the original games on your new console with?
Yeah, because they're gonna make
what
you.
A wasted opportunity.
Well, they're not going to be developing any more consoles, right? They're going to be moving on. They're going to be trying to go down the streaming route. Maybe not. We'll see.
Maybe.
So only 4 older games moving to other consoles for now. Activision Blizzard games coming to the Game Pass soon, and 2 promises. Number 1, more game announcements in June, and 2, the greatest generational leap in Xbox gaming ever in the next console. That was actually much more encouraging than discouraging. But then again, you know, they did announce that, HenricK, there will, well, I won't say there won't, but there will be a console that won't have even a disc ROM for it. It's all going to be digital, kind of something similar to the PS5 Slim. So take that for what you will.
It feels like they're moving away from just even making physical hardware in the first place, because typically, you know, got to think of this from the context of the developers making these consoles, they usually sell them at a loss so that the software is where they gain their money back. And if it's not profitable enough for them, then they're not going to make a console.
That's a good point. And we got another comment here that says, Dear Phil, we need more backwards compatible games on Xbox and more first-person shooter boost on existing backwards frames per second. Excuse me, blonde moment. Okay, I get where this guy's going. Okay, I said first-person shooter. And more frames per second boost on existing backwards compatible games. Please make this happen. And last, can't believe they announced they are making all their games exclusively for Ouya now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
The dead console Ouya makes a return in 2024.
But what does that say, though? I mean, we were just kind of joking about, like yourself and others, they want to get, to play those old Xbox games, and they're not available to be able to stick the disc inside an Xbox Series XS and be able to be playable. Why is that the case? Why are they moving so slow? Why would they want to partner up with another console company to be able to give you the opportunity to play Microsoft, Activision, Blizzard games?
Well, it costs money to make it work, and there's probably not a whole lot of return based on the fact that, when you go buy a used game from some ma and pa shop, they're not getting any money from that exchange that's being made in that shop. As opposed to if they decide, oh, okay, well, we can put it on Game Pass or we can put it on a digital shop, then they're going to make some money off of that.
Yeah, I hear you on that one, but let's even pull it back and talk about the year 2024, because, if Xbox exclusives in 2024 are as good as advertised, will PlayStation and Nintendo need a health pack to recover from the competition? Because just to remind the gamers out there, last year, Redfall, Starfield, and Party Animals, including Hi-Fi Rush, got out clean, but then Xbox kind of struggled with a few misfires. Some people would categorize Gears of War 5 as kind of being a miss opportunity. Also, you had Halo Infinity that didn't quite come to fruition that they were anticipating.
Halo Infinite, yeah.
Infinite, excuse me. Yes. And so when you think about that, and you think about some of the games that are going to be coming out as an exclusive for Xbox, like Indiana Jones and the Golden Circle, Avowed, and Hellblade, what do you think? I mean, is that enough to really secure the frontier for what's to come?
I mean, those are all real cool looking games, and they look really promising, but you got to think about this from the perspective of someone who can maybe only get one console. Why are they going to buy an Xbox for 3, 4, 5 games? They're going to buy it for more than that. I mean, the joke always is with the PS5 that it's only got like 10 to 15 games on it, so has no games, but at least you can go play the PS4 games on it and still have a good time. And there is a bit of a benefit for actually going back and playing those PS4 games on your PS5 because they'll load faster, things like that. And it just feels like a better deal to get a PS5 compared to an Xbox console. Then you also got to think about it. Oh, okay, well, a lot of these games are also coming out on PC, so why would a PC gamer even buy an Xbox console? There's no point.
Yeah, I mean, especially considering how Microsoft has always been in the PC gaming sector for all these years, and they're not stupid. They know exactly what's going on, and seeing that there is that transition swing coming from, console gaming going to the PC, mobile, and even your smart TV, which is incredible. But, I mean, think about it. PlayStation Showcase, all they got is Stellar Blade in May, and then they have an open slot all around the summertime to really kind of amplify their momentum. And let's not even forget about Nintendo, for example. What more do they got to celebrate about? I mean, I was just clowning them on pause or repeat about their Mario versus Donkey Kong, and they're just going to be doing even more remasters with Luigi's Mansion 2. You also got Paper Mario, the 1,000-Year Door remaster coming soon. And, some people are kind of excited, not really excited for Pokemon Legends C-A. So, this is kind of a weird time, because every time a Pokemon game gets announced, you get really amped up. This is like the first time I felt like when a teaser dropped, it did not get any momentum. So to see Xbox always kind of be the little brother on a level to Sony and Nintendo, we got to know from you gamers, what do you think? Is this the golden opportunity for Xbox to execute in this very moment? But let's go ahead and start
to be a bit of a
go ahead.
climb for them regardless, but we'll have to see because it really is looking kind of sparse for their competition. So it could be a moment for them to at least claw back some player base, but we'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. But hey, let's go ahead and switch gears. This is a very, very big topic that was happening all across the industry. So go ahead and break it down, HenricK the Wreck.
Absolutely. So developers of the free Nintendo Switch emulator Yuzu recently settled in court for allegedly, quote, facilitating piracy at a colossal scale, end quote. Less than a week after being sued, actually. Following the $2.4 million lawsuit over their open source emulator, Tropicaze has been accused since 2018 for allowing users to play Nintendo Switch games on their computers or phones, and this didn't sit well with Gamers Online, the news of Nintendo doing this.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The first comment that we got here is Nintendo would sue an Italian school for having a kid named Mario. They just love lawsuits. Or they just got the best lawyers in town. Second comment that we got here is losing Citra is probably the biggest blow to emulation. That is for, what, Nintendo 3DS games?
3DS, yeah. And it is a big loss for that scene, considering it was one of the bigger ones. Something might take its place, but we'll have to see.
We'll see what's good. Third comment we got here is, no one seems to hate video game preservation more than Nintendo. They question why people pirate their games. Laughing out loud.
In big
That's
capitals.
a bold take. Citra going down alongside Yuzu sucks, because at least Rujink still exists for the Switch, but now 3DS emulation is dead. Fans do what Nintendo don't. And last, I'm genuinely confused why Nintendo won't update their outdated hardware. It would solve half of their piracy problems. You guys don't think that Nintendo's not doing that right now? Is that a legitimate question to be asked for Nintendo?
I'm sure they're looking at it. And, you know, a lot of people have been really complaining about how the Switch hardware is really aging itself out at this point. But then there's also, you know, rumors that
of a Switch 2 coming.
And that it's delayed till next year. So we'll see. We won't know until they actually come out and say, oh, here's the Switch 2. But
anybody that doesn't, like, I didn't mean to cut you off, but it's like, look, HenricK, look at this. Just a screenshot for anybody that has no idea what an emulator is. And you see this game of libraries and you go, oh, that's really cool. And so I can essentially, go online, download the emulator, play it on your computer without paying a single dollar. And people wonder why Nintendo is having an aggressive stance towards going after these developers of these emulator softwares.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. The emulator is not designed to be pirating games. It's designed to just play the games. And in theory...
Are you sure about that? Are you sure? I mean, less than a week, they folded and immediately settled for $2.4 million.
There's court precedent that it is legal to make an emulator software, and there's been multiple cases where companies have come against an emulator group and said, hey, you can't be doing this, and then they get shut down because it's legal to do. What's not legal is going online and downloading the game or any copyrighted content illegally without giving your money first, you know? That's the part that's a little bit of a gray area, though, because obviously, especially in the case of this, people were doing that. They were going online, downloading copies of, you know, Nintendo Switch games, like, we'll say Tears of the Kingdom, which is really the thing that they were focusing on big time.
Big time.
And then they were putting this downloaded illegally game file into Yuzu, and it was then able to be played even before the game was officially out.
Yeah, I mean, it was a massive breach. They were alleging that there was over 1 million downloads that happened pre-release.
But can you really put the burden of guilt for that on the emulator developer? Or
Absolutely,
is that maybe just the fault
absolutely.
of
When you see a
the
game that's
pirates?
fully accessible before the game is even released, that developer has the opportunity to immediately flag the game off it. And this whole idea, like, trust me, we all want to play video games that are not available for people, and there are the rights and the wrong ways to go about it. This is definitely not the right approach to be going with this. Keep in mind, Yuzu was around with a 2018 launch, and it was already running Super Mario Odyssey by November of that year. So Nintendo has been watching them like a hawk in the corner all these years, and what was really the breaking point was launching their very first $70 game on Nintendo and seeing over 1 million copies, okay? 1 million times 70. No, I'm not going to do the math, but you, the gamer, can. That's a lot of money being lost because of emulators out there that are allowing gamers to pirate their games and utilize it so they can not play it on their own device. I mean, just look at this image. HenricK. I mean, the reason why I'm showing this screenshot right now for all the gamers tuning on in, do you not see a problem with this? I mean,
this is literally just the screen to set up your controller, Chris.
No. But look into the picture. Look deeper into the picture, HenricK. You see a Nintendo Switch controller. I'm seeing loss of profit. The loss of profit for Nintendo is not being able to sell the controller because you can rig it to your PC and onto your keyboard, and then you don't even have to buy a controller. That is why they're freaking out. And so Tropic Haze also had to delete its Yuzu copies and all circumvention tools used to access or develop it, including the physical copies. They also lost the domain name. That also got now is being owned by Nintendo, which is pretty interesting. I don't know why they would want to own it. But also, we got another comment from the homeboy Kevin Drake. He says the Napster of the gaming world. Ooh, that's a interesting take. On a level, this does kind of remind you of like a uTorrent.
Yeah, but if we're gonna talk about what happened with Napster a little bit here, so music piracy is not so much a thing anymore. And why is that? Well, Spotify exists. You can pay a subscription service, and it's much more convenient to do that rather than go online and download all the albums you'd ever want to, do. It takes way too much time.
Don't forget the malware and the virus.
True. You got to put that in there too. But at that point, and, to kind of paraphrase Gabe Newell, his stance on piracy when he's asked about this is piracy is something you combat as a company by offering a better service than the pirates. And so if so many people were pirating Nintendo Switch games to play in Yuzu, what is the problem there? Well, clearly there's a problem with the service that Nintendo is offering because, one, there's some games you can't play on their modern platform without actually emulating. That's why Citra existed, because the 3DS shop and the Wii U shop are both taken down. So you can't play those games unless you want to go out and search for the hardware itself. Now, in the sense of the Nintendo Switch console, as I was saying, that console hardware is pretty aging itself out at this point. So if you want to play your favorite games at anything above 1080p, like 1440p or 4K even, the only way to do that is through an emulator. You can't hook up a Nintendo Switch to a 4K TV and expect it to look amazing because the TV is upscaling it for you at that point.
But
there's a service issue here.
But I do think, HenricK, you're missing something. And I think you were onto it at a moment, and I'll tell you why. And I think, great comment from Kevin Drake, because I think he's onto something as well. The Napster of gaming, you could call it that. But listen, you said the streaming with the Spotify definitely changed the notion. Cutting the cable, going to streaming, right? You have all this endless opportunity to be able to download all your music and right on the go, right? Last year, we reported, remember that story about the completionist? I know he's in trouble about other things, finessing people with his charity, but we're going to ignore that for right now. Remember, he had a challenge where he was going to go on the Nintendo store and download all the games before it got removed from the store completely. Why do you think Nintendo took all that stuff down? Why do you think they're going after emulators? Because they're getting ready to create their own Game Pass. They do not want other consumers to go out there and start pirating their games when they're going to create the ultimate hub and fix all the problems that you have been discussing. And if you don't think that Xbox and Microsoft is thinking that way too when it comes to backward compatible games, trust me. And I will emphatically say they are going to make it happen for you guys to be able to play those old school games through their streaming service. And I believe that's when Nintendo is shifting their gears.
How about this little fact about that? If they are, working on it, which most likely they are, considering everyone's trying to do that right now. If they're going to do that, how many games are they going to have in there that are not going to be, in their library of Switch or we'll talk about just Wii U and 3DS games. How many games in that whole library are not going to be on their streaming service?
But what Game Passes actually give you everything all at once? None of them, because they gotta give you an incentive to keep sticking around for the month. They're gonna feed you like a baby bird, and you're gonna be waiting for the worm to hit you right in the mouth. That's what they're doing. They're feeding you breadcrumbs, and they're going, "Oh, you like this little antidote? Oh, you hated this month? Wait until March. Oh, you hated this month again." It's a perfect marketing plan. Okay, I'm not saying it's right, but that's how they sucker you in.
And they want to play them now, not have to wait several years for a game, maybe an obscure game.
But then again, you never had the opportunity to play those games, and I would argue that a lot of the gamers don't even think about going that far back to be playing these games until the opportunity comes where you will be allowed that opportunity to play it through cloud gaming. But then again, who freaking knows, man? And that's why we want you, the gamers, to chime in on this conversation. Is there an opportunity for Nintendo to execute on something behind the scenes, or are they dead ass wrong in setting a terrible precedent for the rest of the community that truly believes we need to preserve the games, not go after the people that, essentially
trying to preserve them.
Trying to preserve them compared to a few bad apples that I'm kind of hearing from HenricK that are utilizing this opportunity for pirating. But hey, man, we got another industry talk. This is pretty crazy because, it's just a terrible year when it comes to developers and publishers, because the gaming industry is facing concerns about a potential crash with over 6,000 developers losing their jobs this year. Issues such as delays in the Nintendo Switch 2 and the trend of Xbox and PlayStation going multi-format are raising worries about the industry's long-term health, drawing parallels to the 1983 crash. A lot of you gamers, I'm sure, tuning in right now weren't even born, so we'll break it down for anybody that has no idea what the 1983 crash was like.
You and I were not born.
I know, exactly. That's why I got to inform our audience, okay? Because unlike the past, okay, where the abundance of cheaply made games flooded the market, the current problem lies in the scarcity of too few quality AAA games that studios can't afford to make anymore. And gamers chimed in, and we got comments. We definitely wanted to hear from the gamers circulating all across the globe. And the first comment we got here is, honestly, I've enjoyed the indie market far more for the last 10 years, probably at this point.
You know what? Yes, actually, indie games are killing it right now.
Yeah, they really are. AAA games in 2030, online only, cost $75. A bazillion decorative items that are AI slop. 200 gigabytes, 100 gigabytes, 0-day patch. 20 DLCs that cost $50 each, but are that of a kind of a DLC that you still have to download, and paying only activates it for you. Server shut down 2 years at most after release. Graphics look mid despite requiring high-end GPUs. Bugs that are never patched. Gaming isn't dying. The AAA industry is. It's not dying in the way that it's going away. It's dying in the sense that it will lose everything that made it special and will become a husk of its former self. Gee, with the economy inflating, game production skyrocketing, gamers shunning predatory in-game monetization that publishers are enforcing, and new games releasing unfinished every other day, what could go wrong? The industry badly needs a reset, and I'm glad I have a backlog of great games that could hold me over for months until they figure it out.
Yeah, it's real
All I-
questionable how much longer AAA games are going to be sustainable.
Yeah, that's a good point because all I heard was, quote, we need money to pay our shareholders, so we got to cut our expenses, end quote. There goes a huge chunk of the employees responsible to create their main product and last. This is what happens with the publicly traded companies when revenue dips, the heads roll. It's such a short-sighted way to operate, and I wish more of the game industry didn't have to answer to public shareholders. Is that really the problem? Is that what's creating it? Because, HenricK, I mean, are we really on the brink of a video game apocalypse, or is the gaming industry just going to respawn with a clever cheat code?
Well, comparing now the gaming industry to 1983, gaming back then was very much more of a niche hobby, mostly that a lot of kids played. It was just a toy, really, you know. But now it's such a mainstream thing to just have gaming as a hobby. It would be really hard to say that the industry would have a complete crash like that. Now, I do kind of agree with some of the comments, though, where AAA is really suffering because indie games are really killing it. And if 2024 is the year where AAA games kind of take a little bit of a backseat to indie games, that'd be great to see, considering there's so many great games in the indie game space that come out every year that get overshadowed by the AAA game releases, and as a result don't really get that much attention. And we've already seen it this year so far that people don't necessarily want to need to spend $70 on a game. They want to spend, maybe $30, $40. Helldivers 2 is $40. Power World or Pokemon with Guns is $30. And those are two games that people have, even today, so much fun with and are probably going to continue to have fun with for the rest of the year moving forward. I think that it's going to be really, people are going to be looking at the games that are not necessarily $70 and live service because they're getting tired of that. They want to have a game experience that's just finished.
And that's why you got companies like Warner Brothers this week that are trying to reiterate their plans to the gamers, letting them know that they're going to increase its focus on free-to-play and live service games. They've already said that they feel that it is very volatile. That is their words. Very volatile the AAA console games business has become, and they do not want to make that mistake. And they have come out this week claiming that they're focusing on their four main forms of IP. That is Mortal Kombat, Game of Thrones, DC, and Harry Potter. And we reported a couple weeks ago, HenricK, that Disney and Epic Games, Disney has an equity stake in Epic Games for about $1.5 billion investing in the world of live service games. Is that the future? Or is that the part where the imminent crash comes in?
Well, I mean, think about how tired you would be if 50 games come out and all of them, well, maybe not all of them, because maybe half of them decide to put a battle pass in their systems. And you want to play maybe 10 of the games that come out of that 50 throughout the entire year. How tired are you going to be when you have maybe a few games to play and each of them have a battle pass that is designed to keep you only playing that game? I have a coworker of mine, he's playing 3 separate games that are live service models, and he tells me, oh yeah, I have to plan out time to play this game and time to play this game and time to play this game, and then I don't have time to play anything else. But that sounds so miserable. Gaming is supposed to be you have fun, not make it like a game.
A 9 to 5
where
gig.
You have to grind and it's a 9 to 5. Like that's just it's not the point.
But it's like what you said, though. Gamers just don't want to spend $70 for games, and some still have a hard time even wanting to pay $50, like Mario versus Donkey Kong. And the shareholders hear that. They know it. And that's why they feel the best way moving forward, instead of creating Hogwarts Legacy 2, we're going to turn Hogwarts Legacy 2 into a live service free-to-play game, hoping that if you like the free model, then you can enhance your experience by throwing a little shekels here and there to amplify the experience. And when we say crash, guys, I think we have to remind this, gals out there as well. Crash means crash. That means like it's going to be a complete fall off when 2025 comes around and 2026. So I think, me personally, HenricK, It's a bit of a stretch. I think we're all kind of freaking out just because, Nintendo's just dropping remasters and Sony's not really dropping anything after May. But then again, there are, little flutters out there. This is all just speculation, but, there are rumors that Sony might announce in May and June a Ghost of Tsushima 2 sequel. Who knows? I just saw it online. Don't shoot the messenger. But but then again, we'll see what's up. But you, the gamers, let us know what's up. Do you feel we're witnessing a video game crash happening in real time? Comment and let us know what's good. But HenricK, break it down. This is another thing that's ruffling feathers with developers and publishers across the world.
So Rockstar Games is requiring employees to return to the office 5 days a week starting in April, as the studio is entering the final stages of developing Grand Theft Auto 6, a game we all want to just have it come out right now, right? The company has dealt with security breaches, including leaks of early footage and a trailer for the new game. We remember all that happening, right?
Man, that was crazy.
It was crazy, the whole case that happened out of that. The debate over return to the office mandates has been intense across the industry since the pandemic shifted many employees to remote work. Now, gamers quickly flooded the internet with the following comments.
Yeah, let's go ahead and check out the comments here. The first one we got is, they take their time. People be like, quote, how much longer do we need to wait? They try to speed things up. People like, what's the rush? We waited this long?
Yeah.
It makes sense to make the developing more secure, especially after that breach. Not to mention that remote access for a lot of employees is an information security disaster waiting to happen. I don't know if anybody remembers, a couple weeks ago, Sony, remember the breach? A lot of employees had their information, out there on the dark web. Oh my God, a regular work week? Whatever shall you do? Weird. It's almost like Rockstar has an extremely hyped up game in production that could completely destroy their name if it flops. So they want their workers to get to the office and make sure that nothing gets leaked for said game again. And last, they have to work 5 days a week. Tell that to some factory worker that's doing third shift 7 days a week for a couple months straight. So not a lot of people are I know there's a lot of anonymous developers that work for Rockstar Games that are speaking out against this, not happy. But is the debate for the return to office mandates like a heated, how do I phrase this? Like more heated than a LAN party gone wrong? Or are we just seeing the rise of the great cubicle standoff?
Well, I think on one hand, yes, having a remote job in any industry that has the possibility of a remote job is really great for your lifestyle, considering you have so much time for other things because you don't have to commute to the office, you don't have to commute back home, and you could probably do things, maybe in the middle of the workday as well while you're at home. Now, at the same time, you have to agree that going back to the office for this case is something that just makes sense after having such a big leak scandal happen. They're just saying, you know what, we don't want to even chance it. We want to make sure that the workstations that people are working on this game on are in office and not taken home and then leaked online because some, employee's kid decides to get really, really crafty and look at it.
True.
And then
put
it online.
Yeah, there was that incident. What's so funny? I totally forgot about that incident, but that's a great point to also reference. But then, we reported about it last month as well, where there was a kid across the pond that got access to Rockstar Games and started dropping a lot of the demo reels. Then they, got him under police custody. They had him in a hotel room. And what does he do? He's able to still hack with an Amazon Fire Stick and a TV provided at the hotel space. Like, that is mind-boggling. And then they had this highly anticipated trailer that was supposed to drop, and then it leaks a day before, and then the workers out there are freaking out, going, oh my God, a return to the crunch time period. Well, on a level, I get it. Trust me. Crunch is a terrible thing. But what did these developers and publishers anticipate when they took on this job for Rockstar Games? Do they not realize, the magnitude that Rockstar Games has been set in stone for the last decade. I mean,
Yeah.
but then again, it almost, I see the other side of the argument where people are coming from because, we did reference earlier in the show that there were over 6,000 workers laid off this year alone when it comes to the video game sector. It almost feels like Rockstar Games, without actually saying layoffs out loud, is just changing course by saying, we're going to return to work mandate. When really what they're saying is, hello, we're welcoming layoffs. And if you can't join the party, thanks for, your contribution towards this legit game, but we're moving on without you. Sorry.
And that actually probably will happen, considering I'm not too surprised if some of the developers that are working from home don't even have a home next to the office or close enough to the office for it to be reasonable enough for them to even return to the office. And I don't know if they're going to want to move, because that could be a big move depending on how far they got to go.
And this is the thing, like, HenricK and I, this is not a new conversation that we haven't had before. Like, we try to inform our Rage Quit audience, like, think about it. Like, you think about the music industry. Where is that mecca? Nashville, right? You think about cinema and television. You think Hollywood. Some might argue that the video game mecca used to be Tokyo, Japan. That's just not really the case, and they got
Studios
developers in Montreal, right, you got in Santa Monica, you might have it in Seattle, the list goes on and on. And so that's the problem. You're hiring a large workforce all across the world, and that's why you got the likes of the Independent Workers Union of Great Britain called the decision reckless, accused the studio of breaking its promise, and called them out for not consulting with the employees prior to the return to office mandates. And that's why a lot of people have a big problem with this. And even last year, Ubisoft Montreal employees were left fuming over what they call the broken promises in regards to the studio's return to office mandates. So this is nothing new in the gaming sector, where they promise one thing and then they go off. But then again, I don't know if anybody saw the recent Grounded Part 2, The Last of Us documentary, and they also had a security breach, which come to find out, the kid, I think it was Sweden, I can't remember, don't quote me, fam, but he had access for like the last couple years, and then he started releasing all the demos, and then they all started freaking out, like, why is he doing this to us? Why is he doing it to us? And the kid only did it because they wanted to put pressure on Naughty Dog to release the game, because he felt like they were just holding it, shelving it, and they didn't finish the game. The game wasn't even complete. And so it really just ruined the momentum. But then again, they bounced back. They got their own HBO show. We don't need to cry wolf too much about Naughty Dog, but you get the point. It can be very detrimental. Recently. Yeah. So, exactly. So there's a lot of factors that can play into this, and yes, it's very unfortunate. I don't know if this will be the standard. We will see as things go on, but man, wild times. And does this mean Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to be coming out a lot sooner than we think? Please.
Maybe. I mean, they're saying they're in the last bit of development, so it could be delayed. It could not be delayed. We'll see.
Yeah. Take it for what you will, gamers. But man, we had such a great time with everybody that's tuning on in every Wednesday, prime time, baby, at 6:00 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I just want to remind you guys again, if you're not following me on my YouTube channel, go ahead and scan the QR code, like, share, and subscribe so you never miss a live show.
And go ahead and go to my YouTube channel and like, comment, subscribe on the videos there, because I don't just post memes. I also do post a couple series, one named Games to Play, where I go and recommend a game that I like to play and I think you should play it too. And I also look at some games that are in development, in development soapbox, and you can go ahead and take a look at those.
Hell yeah, baby. Thank you, the gamers, for always tuning in live, and we will see you next week, fam. Peace.
See ya.